There are a ton of perks in Fallout New Vegas. In fact, if you add up all the perks in the base game, including the ones you get from companions, challenges, and the DLC, this comes out to over 160 perks you could pick from. Now obviously not all of these are good, and there are already a bunch of videos on YouTube covering some of the best ones in the game, such as jury-rigging and better criticals. Now I don't want to waste anyone's time talking about perks that everyone's probably already using. Instead, I wanted to make a top 5 list of perks that people probably haven't heard of or aren't using in their current build. So, these are the top 5 perks you should use in your next build. Coming in at number 5 is Hand Loader, and I know a lot of people probably already know about this perk, but I'm not sure how many people actually implement it into their build, because I agree it's tedious to craft all the ammo, but it's definitely worth it to go out of your way to do it, because there's 13 different types of ammo, and they're significantly stronger than the normal ammo you would be using. For example, Medicine Stick is my favorite gun to use, and you can see it was doing 112 damage and 181 DPS with normal ammo. Now when I switch to the handload ammo, we have increased damage, and it even reduces the target's damage threshold. Now when we go back over, you can see I'm doing 134 damage and 212 DPS, which is a significant increase. Finally, I wanted to show how it affects an automatic weapon like the light machine gun. We're currently doing 30 damage and 366 DPS. I also wanted to mention, I know that Handloader has a downside because it will degrade some of your weapons faster, but late game you have jury rigging and weapon repair kits, so it shouldn't be too big of an issue. Now you can see we're doing 35 damage and 420 DPS.
Nice.
The next perk I want to mention is Lonesome Road, which is conveniently named after the add-on. You get this at the end of the add-on if you choose to not release EDE right before you fight Ulysses. Now the benefit of this perk is you gain plus 10% damage and plus 10% accuracy in VATS whenever you don't have companions. So I'm showing you the difference right here in the damage I'm doing before and after I had Veronica. So if you're someone who likes to play solo without companions, definitely pick up this perk because it's really worth it. At third place I have Light Touch, which requires the Dead Money add-on if you want to pick it up. Now if you're going for a crit build, I think this perk is absolutely essential because it gives you a plus 5% chance to crit whenever you're wearing light armor, and your enemies will suffer a minus 25% chance to crit. Now some of the best crit armor in the game is light armor. For example, Ulysses Duster is light and it gives plus 5% chance to crit, so if you combine it with this perk, that's plus 10, and then all the other crit gear like the first Recon Beret, 10 luck, if you have finesse, you're going to have over a 30% chance to crit, and you can combine that with high crit weapons or other perks like Laser Commander, and your character is going to be very, very strong. You're going to be critting almost every single time. So definitely pick this up if you like to have a critical hit build. At the runner-up spot I have And Stay Back, which also requires the Dead Money add-on, and this perk gives you a chance to knock down opponents whenever you're using a shotgun. Now in terms of overall strength, I think this is probably one of the strongest perks in the game, if not the strongest. The reason why I don't have it at number 1 is because it's kind of cheesy, because you can see whenever I knock down an opponent, they stay on the ground for like 10 seconds, and if you're using a fast shotgun like the Riot Shotgun, you can just keep them on the ground forever and there's nothing they can really do. They have no chance to fight back, and you can just mow through as many enemies as you want. Now in situations like this where I'm fighting a bunch of Deathclaws, that can be really useful, but it can make gameplay a little bit boring because everything's just stuck on the ground. But you can definitely see the overall strength of this perk and how useful it is if you combine it with the other strong shotgun perks. If you've never used it before, then definitely try it out because it is pretty fun. At first place, I have Elijah's Ramblings, which increases the crit damage you do with melee weapons by 50%. Now the reason why I have this perk at first place is for 2 reasons. The first reason is obviously that it's very strong, but the second reason is that a lot of people might not know about this perk. You can only get it after you complete the Dead Money add-on, and when you go back to the Brotherhood of Steel bunker, you have to go to this terminal, and there's going to be an option to download a holo message. I'm not seeing it here because I've already done it, but if you download it, it should look like this in your inventory. It's called Elijah's holo message, and you can see that it says for Veronica. So now we have to go talk to Veronica. Once you get to Veronica, you're going to have to exhaust all the dialogue options related to Father Elijah. So in order to do this, you have to make her your follower, and then ask her to tell me about yourself, and then you can ask her about Father Elijah. Now there's going to be a bunch of options, just make sure you've picked them all, and once you go back to the main dialogue menu, you'll have the ability to tell her you met Father Elijah in Dead Money. And at this point, you can choose to either give her the holo message, or keep it for yourself. Obviously if we keep it for ourselves, then we're going to get Elijah's Ramblings perk. If you choose to give it to Veronica, she'll get the Elijah's Last Words perk, which increases her attack speed and gives her the ability to knock people down, which is very strong. So if you like to use Veronica as a companion, then you might consider giving it to her. But personally, I'd rather have the perk for my own character and make myself much stronger. This perk can make melee weapons builds very overpowered if you combine them with other melee weapon perks like Slayer and Unstoppable Force, and especially if you're already using a crit build like I mentioned in the Light Touch perk, you're going to have a really high chance to crit, and if you combine that with high crit chance weapons like Bloodnap or Chance's Knife, or you could just use a really strong weapon like Oh Baby, you're going to be mowing through stuff and almost one-shotting them every time you score a crit. So it makes melee weapons very fun, and if you like to use them, I definitely recommend getting this perk. So that's my list. I hope I was able to show you all a couple new perks, and hopefully inspire you to maybe start a new playthrough with some of the things you saw. Either way, if you could leave a comment, I would really appreciate it, and maybe tell me about some of the perks you guys feel are really important for your builds. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.